Hulunbuir, Arshan Deep 77-day tour. On the first day, the grassland Pearl Hilar Gunha. Hilar, Morgul River, Guna, Orugya reindeer tribe, residing in Gunha city. We had our first experience on the grassland today, crossing the Hulunbuir grassland. Along the way, during the seasonal season, we could also enjoy the beautiful scenery of rapeseed flowers and head to Gunha. This road is a transitional area between the grassland and the Great Shingon Mountains, and the scenery along the way is very beautiful. After leaving the urban area of Hulunbuir, we headed straight to the Morgul grassland. Once we arrived there, I believe the children would rush into the grassland, chasing after cows and sheep, and cheering and jumping. Their curiosity about the grassland and their passion for cattle and sheep are nothing more than their love for toys. The wonder of nature and the beauty of the grassland are not just joyful playgrounds for children. Here, there are cows and sheep accompanying each other, blue sky guarding each other, white clouds complementing each other, and lush green grass. If there is the Morgul grassland, there is the Morgul River. They are closely related and cherish each other, like a pair of lovers who love each other and blend into their hearts, heading towards a distant future together, never getting old. The Morgul River originates from the western foothills of the Greater Shingon Mountains, flowing from northeast to southwest through the famous Hulunbuir grassland, flowing into Lake Huha, and then flowing out into the Hilar River. With a total length of over 290 kilometers, it belongs to the Guna River system, a boundary river between China and Russia. The famous writer Mr. Lao Shi referred to it as the first bend of water. After lunch, drive to the Gen River wetland, which is known as the #1 wetland in Asia. You can take a sightseeing bus to the scenic area, and reach the main peak at 720 meters. You can overlook the green vegetation in the distance. The Gen River meanders and the mountain top is the highest point of the city of Guna. You can enjoy the beautiful scenery of this small town with blue and pink roofs intertwined. The most surprising thing is that various colors of gasang flowers and sunflowers can be seen everywhere, as well as sunflower seeds. This is currently the most intact and largest wetland in China, highly favored by photography enthusiasts. Here, we mainly watch the life of the reindeer tribe, with pointed tents and deer milk and dairy products. Sometimes we can see on-site barbecues. Experience the life in the land of reindeer, and get in close contact with animals. On the second day, the Chinese-Russian Linjiang village in Gunha city. Gunha Mordoga, Taiping village, Yuyapeo, Eagle Mouth, Linjiang. Today, the main focus is on the beautiful scenery of the primitive forests in the Greater Shingon Mountains. We walk, stop, play, and take photos, relaxed and free. During the season of wild fruits, we can pick natural blueberries and forest wild fruits ourselves. In the evening, we can stay in and experience the unique Russian woodcut room. Driving through the secluded paths of the forest, the trees on both sides of the road block the sky and the sun, as if walking through a green tunnel. The scenery along the way is intoxicating. It is simply the most beautiful visual enjoyment. The towering mountains stretch out horizontally, meandering and undulating, deep yet vast and majestic. If it is in the early morning, here is shrouded in clouds and mist, sometimes a vast sea of clouds, sometimes like silk and catkins. The mountain shape is faintly visible in the thin mist, and with the continuous transformation of the sunset, it is like a dream, making it an excellent place for photography. Shenzhen ranks first in the cuisine of Mordoga, ranging from mushrooms on one leg to deer meat on 4 legs, as well as seasonal wild vegetables and fruits. Every July and August, various berries and mushrooms are scattered throughout the mountains, and tourists can indulge in them. Taiping village is a small village with a history of over 100 years, but cannot be found on maps, where only a dozen or so households reside. Coming here seems like walking into a secluded paradise, without the hustle and bustle of the city or the interference of traffic. The wooden houses and wooden cane gardens in the small village stand quietly in the village, telling the story of a century of vicissitudes in a unique way. Near the west side of Old Eagle Mouth, there are large areas of rapeseed flowers and wheat fields planted, which are also the location of the movie Wheat Field. At the Eagle's Beak, it is a place where humans and nature blend together. Through scientific rotation cultivation, the soil is well protected, and while obtaining the food and oil needed by humans, nature is not destroyed. At the Eagle's Beak, there are complete natural scenery on one side and farmland conquered by humans on the other. No matter which side you choose as the background, you can take stunning photos. Linjiang Village, Hulunbuir District. Although Linjiang Village may not be as primitive as before, the rapeseed fields and wheat fields surrounding the village, as well as the sunrise and sunset on the eastern and southern mountains of Linjiang Village, are also good shooting points. Linjiang Village is particularly fond of foggy weather, and heavy fog usually dissipates after 7 o'clock. Taking photos of sunrise in Linjiang Village is not about taking photos of the sun, so you don't need to get up too early. The main focus is on capturing the river surface where the fog is about to dissipate, the entire landscape of Linjiang Village and the farmland. You can choose to stay overnight in Linjiang Village and take photos of the wooden houses and yellow birch trees by the village. Very beautiful. Day 3 Linjiang Haishantou. Linjiang Sherway Border Guard Highway Haishantou. Today, we cross the primitive forest and return to the grasslands, passing through the most beautiful checkpoint road known as the Kashian Highway. Along the way, we have the beautiful scenery of the Tai Chi Bagua diagram, which depicts the year-round impact of the Sino-Russian border river. Today, you can also experience Mongolian entertainment activities such as living in a yurt, baking roasted whole lamb, riding horses on the grassland, and bonfire party. Sherway Russian Ethnic Village, a small village in Urguna City, selected by CCTV as one of the 10 charming villages of China, and also selected as one of the 100 beautiful villages of China. The village head of Sherway is the Urguna River, and across the river is the small village of Olak in the far east of Russia. The two villages face each other across the river, only 300 meters apart. In the past, Shandong men who came to search for gold in the Kanto region attracted beautiful Russian girls across the river. As a result, many Shandong men married Russian beauties, forming unique descendants of Chinese and Russian in history. Coming here allows domestic and foreign tourists to feel the exotic wind without leaving their country. The border checkpoint line is not a scenic spot, but a beautiful border highway named after the border checkpoint. The grasslands along this line are completely different from the Chembelhu grassland. The Chembelhu grassland is a vast expanse of green, completely formed, while the grasslands along the line are colorful and full of ink. It is resolute in green, intense in red, and brilliant in yellow, as if the brush of God is slightly heavy. The beauty of the card thread cannot be recorded with a camera. You must personally go and walk through this magnificent and colorful grassland to experience the passion like the scorching sun. Paradise Card Line, the most beautiful highway. The most beautiful scenery you can see in Hulunbuir is on the border defense road of Wuka, Kika, and Juka. Tianlu, so get your phone and camera ready, press the shutter and capture buttons wildly. Life must go once. Haishantou is a small place where you can see the beautiful scenery of the sunset in the west. Due to the direction of the sun setting in Russia, the sunset on Haishantou is particularly magnificent. Whenever people eat and the sun sets in the west, we drive to the mountaintop to overlook the sunset. Facing here seems more comforting than facing the sea. Have you bloomed with spring warmth? Faced with this, I think anyone can calm down, their hearts can be infinitely released, and once you release them, you will laugh happily. We will walk on the grasslands along the China-Russia border, which are the original and well-protected grasslands of Hulunbuir. It is called the Road of Photography, passing through the natural landscape of Tai Chi Bagua and the magnificent Ulan Mountains. Afterwards, we can also see Chinese outposts and villages across from Russia. 5 cards, 6 cards, and 9 cards are actually ancient post stations. Nowadays, they are villages with border troops stationed. The entire road section is in a grassland and hilly area, with flat terrain and open river valleys. The scenery is picturesque along the way. Apart from passing through villages and towns, there is basically no signal from mobile phones on the way. Occasionally, there is a signal, but it still roams to Russia, and all calls are international long distance. On the 4th day, Haishantou, Man's Holy. Haishantou -186 Colored Belt Boundary River, Hulunbuir Lake, National Gate, Man's Holy Tawa Square, night photo of Russian wedding palace. Today we are walking along the border road, continuing along the grassland road of the border river. On the other side of the border river, we can see Russian villages. There is a filming location for a variety show where Dad goes, where he can visit the yurts where celebrities live, and where he can experience the content of the variety show. We can also reach the destination of the port of Manzhouli, known as Little Hong Kong. The night scenery in Manzhouli is very beautiful, and we can wander in Manzhouli at night and experience the Russian style. The number 186 is just a milestone number for the road here, coinciding with the winding shape of the river overlooking the border with Russia on the slopes. Therefore, the name of this place was established as the 186 Colored Ribbon River. The winding river, illuminated by the sunlight, presents a colorful ribbon on the Sino-Soviet border. The undulating Russian mountains in the distance create a beautiful picture. The Balhu grassland is one of the famous for banners of the Hulunbuir grassland pastoral area, where 14 ethnic groups, including the Mongolian, Han, Ewenki, and Dor, live. We drove all the way today, stopping and playing while taking photos. We didn't rush to experience the Hulunbuir grassland for the first time. Experience the natural scenery of the grassland. The big lake is like the sea, blue to the end of the sky. Here, you can taste the wild and natural, all-fish feast, by taking a stormboat or motorboat for water entertainment. The beautiful Hulunbuir Lake is a kind of feeling here. Picking up agate stones by the water, blowing the wind, and coming to the grassland is to relax and cultivate your mood, aren't you? It's very suitable here. After all, the country must come. Before you came, you knew he was nothing, but you still wanted to come because it was emotional, haha. The content inside is actually quite rich, not just a gateway, you can see some historical content. You can enter the National Gate building, and from the top floor, you can see the opposite Russian National Gate and town. It can be found that the urban construction in Manzhouli is really lagging behind several streets across the street. Occasionally, you can also see a long timber transport train coming from the other end of the country gate. The current gateway is the 5th generation and the largest land port gateway. Across the country is Russia's Hubaykalsk, a small town in Chita Oblast. Located 9 kilometers from Manzhouli, with a population of over 7,000 people. The Doll Square is a very worthwhile place to visit, with Russian characteristics. There are many dolls of all sizes inside, which children must love very much. Entertainment projects are all for children to play with, such as bumper cars, etc. In the evening, there is also a Russian performance, and the scenery is even more beautiful, stunning. Moreover, it is highly commendable that tickets can be redeemed twice on the same day. For example, if you finish playing in the morning, you can go out to the country gate and come in at night to enjoy the night view. This is a relatively romantic place, especially with beautiful lighting at night, and it is also the highest point in Manchuria. You can see the night view of the entire city of Manzhouli, and you can also see Russian-style wedding celebration performances in the wedding palace. The night view of the wedding palace is very beautiful, and the entire wedding palace is illuminated with golden and magnificent lights. Day 5 Manzhouli, Arshan National Forest Park. Manzhouli, Uligita Holy Water Source, Nomnan War Site, Arshan National Forest Park, moved in from Tianchi town. Today on the way, we can taste natural mineral springs, visit the ruins of the Norman War, and head to the Arshan National Forest Park. Take a good night's rest, recharge your phone and camera, and there will be more beautiful scenery waiting for us the next day. Iha Ula is revered as a sacred mountain by local herdsmen, and a large-scale Aubao festival is held here every June 6th. People believe that high mountains are places where gods reside, and the worship and admiration of high mountains are expressed in the form of sacrificing oboes, which is the most sacred worship of I and Ula. According to local customs, offer sincere prayers and beautiful blessings in your heart. The Battle of Nomnan was a war that took place in May 1939 between the Japanese aggressors and the Soviet Union in the present-day Novokharka left banner and the lower reaches of the Halaha River in Mongolia, on the eve of the outbreak of World War II, in order to achieve the long-planned northward advance through the occupation of the Soviet Union's Far East region by Mongolia. This was known as the famous Battle of Nom Nan in history. Do you want to know about the situation of the Battle of Nom Nan? Then you can come to Wubal Jezamu in the new Balho left banner of Hulunbuir, and from the introduction of the exhibition, you can feel the profound significance of this world-shaking battle. The original name of Wusu Longzi Lake was number 49 Paozi. In the morning glow reflected on the lake's surface, emitting thousands of golden lights. During the day, countless white gulls, wild ducks, and eagles sometimes chase and play, and sometimes rise into the air. Swans and mandarin ducks in the lake pair up freely. Accompanied by melodious fishing songs, fishing boats gently sway their oars, weaving through the lake to cast nets and catch fish. Tourists can take a boat to fish, or cook delicious dishes of raw and hydrated fish themselves, savor the delicacies of various fatty fish, and fully enjoy the natural tranquility, creating a unique atmosphere. On the 6th day, the 8 major scenic spots in the Arshan National Forest Park. 8 major tourist attractions in Arshan Forest Park: Grand Canyon, Camel Peak Ridge, Tianchi Lake, Duwan Lake, Turtleback Rock, Shirtong Forest, Tianchi Lake, Santan Gorge, and Dichi Lake. Most of the attractions in Arshan Park are volcanic rock landforms, with beautiful views after volcanic eruptions. The Arshan National Forest Park is embedded in the vast forest sea of the Greater Shingon Mountains, with unique mineral spring resources. The mineral spring cluster integrates drinking, bathing, and treatment, known as the Wonderful Spring of the World. The Halaha River, Chai River, and Imin River meander through it, dotted with many lakes. The park is located in a plateau continental climate zone, with cold and long winters and short and cool summers. It also has the 3 major elements of sunshine, air, and green, advocated by the tourism industry today. It is a natural place for tourism, curiosity, summer vacation, and leisure. Tianchi is located on the Tianchi Ridge, 74 kilometers northeast of the Arshan Mountains, with an altitude of 1,332.3 meters, ranking 3rd in the country after Tianshan Tianchi and Changbai Tianchi. Tianchi is like a crystal-clear jade, set on the majestic and magnificent peak of a high mountain with lush trees. The lake is as flat as a mirror, reflecting the green pine and cypress, the blue sky and white clouds, and the scenery is endless. The mountains are shrouded in water vapor, shrouded in clouds and mist, and the mountain is shrouded in thin mist. White clouds sometimes rise up against the mountain, and sometimes roll down. The lush pine and birch trees surround the pond, creating a unique natural landscape of Tianchi. There are many magical places in Tianchi Lake. Firstly, it does not dry up for a long time, does not overflow with rain for a long time, and even the water level does not rise or fall for many years. The second is that there is no river flowing into or flowing out of Tianchi Lake, but the water in Ihong Lake is incredibly clean. The third is the sister lake a few miles away from Tianchi, which produces abundant fresh fish while Tianchi has no fish. The fourth is unfathomable. Some people jokingly say that Tianchi is connected to the center of the earth. The Santan Gorge is located within the Tianchi Forest Farm of the Arshan Forestry Bureau, 77 kilometers away from Wenchuan Street in Arshan City. It consists of 3 deep pools: Ingsong Pond, Ingbi Pond, and Longfeng Pond. The southern wall is steep, while the northern wall is formed by the accumulation of huge volcanic rocks. The turbulent Haraha River flows through the valley, with volcanic lava filling the riverbed. In the depths of water, the waves are as flat as a mirror, making it difficult to see their bottom. In shallow waters, people can step on stones and wade through the water. The ancients praised the 3 Ponds Gorge. It is magical and beautiful, with clear springs winding around the cliffs. Where are the pearls and jade splashing? The soul is in the distant East China Sea home. On the 7th day, the Pearl Hilar of the Alpine Grassland. Arshan Chishian Lake Grassland, Nugan Lake Aubao Bayan Hushua Grassland Hilar. Today we pay tribute to the grassland Abu, the #1 Abu in the world. The lyrics for the Abu meeting are sung here, returning to the grassland Pearl Hilar. For these 7 days, we can easily and freely park at any time, play and take photos while walking, and control the gameplay time by ourselves, with freedom. Pure play without shopping routes can also be designed and adjusted according to your needs. The 7 Immortals Lake Grassland, known as the Green Pure Land, and Jade of the North, is adjacent to the northern part of Arshan city in Hulunbuir. Hulunbuir is named after Hulun Lake and Beir Lake. In Mongolian, Hutsong means water hunting and Beir means male water hunting. This is the sister lake echoing from afar on the grassland. The grassland has countless eyebrows and ripples, with broad curves and boundless edges. From afar, the flock of sheep is like colorful clouds resting and picking, the yurts are like white sails dotted. The fierce Mongolian young man rides his horse and raises his whip, and the melodious pastoral song echoes on the grassland with the sound of the horsehead cheen, creating a picturesque nomadic scene. Nogan Nur, meaning Green Lake in Mongolian, was originally named Koakin Shagan Nur, also known as Shagan Lake, Longfong Lake, or Nogan Lake. Centered around Nogan Lake, the Hubei shore is a primitive camphor pine forest belt, the west bank of the lake is an open grassland, the southern part of Hunan is a wetland with intertwined water and grass and a gathering of wild birds, and the east, south, and west of the lake are undulating hills and distant mountain backgrounds, integrating various natural landscapes. Aobao is an important carrier of Mongolian worship. In ancient times, the Mongols worshipped all things as gods, and thus also worshipped or controlled other parts of the mountains, rivers, and the earth. The deity. When people go on a long journey and pass by Yuanbao, they must dismount and worship, pray for peace, and add a few stones or handful of soil to the filial piety bag for good luck. This is the interlude amnesty package meeting from the story film People on the Grassland, produced by Beijing Film Studio, which has been circulating in China for nearly half a century. Have you ever known that the location of this movie was filmed in Bayan-Hushua, and the song Meeting the OBO was spread from this OBO to the whole country and even the world?